Psalm chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? And that throne of iniquity would be these unjust leaders that's in the power seat here today. The elite bankers that rule and run this world that we live in. That's ruled by who? The Edomites, ESAU, the so-called white man, which frameth mischief by a law. And that's what they're preparing to do. And this is from Bible 7:7. Prepare for chaos. And this is orchestrated chaos from those unjust leaders. Soros, which is one of them, Bat Group, Indivisible launches Tesla takedown campaign across country. They're getting ready to frame mischief by a law. They're getting ready to take your Second Amendment, your freedom of speech, your rights to bear arms, right? And protect yourself. And that's what these false flag attacks, also known as domestic terrorist attacks, is all about. So without further ado, let's get right to this quick video clip.
What's up, guys? W7 back at you again. This time, everybody should prepare for chaos throughout this whole weekend and maybe on from here. It looks like these Tesla takedown events, as they're calling them, are going to spread. And we got word now that this group that's funding it through George Soros, it's called Indivisible, they're plotting to hit in multiple cities all throughout the weekend. So you're talking more of what we've already seen, plus some other stuff. They're targeting the charging stations. They're targeting everyday people's vehicles out there, the Tesla vehicles, burning them up wherever they sit, keying them. They're shooting up the Tesla dealerships and all types of stuff. The AG's come out and said that these are being deemed acts of domestic terrorism. So
right
now
there. Acts of domestic terrorism, meaning inside. This is an inside job that's being done. And they're going to blame it on who? You, American citizens. Domestic, which means inside terrorism. So now they're getting ready to gear up what? Martial law, put troops on the street. Lockdown, stay-at-home laws. Mischief by a law. And let's go back to that in Psalms 94 and read it in the NLT, verse 20, which is on the right-hand side. Can unjust leaders, and that's all of your leaders around the world, man, they're run by the same hierarchy, the elite bankers. Can unjust leaders claim that God is on their side? Leaders whose decrees, and what is a decree? A law, permit injustice, and that's what they're getting ready to do. And let's get this word law and see what it goes into.
Strong's H 2706. Hulk.
Statute, ordinance, so it's going to be an ordinance. Limit, something prescribed. Something that's prescribed, meaning they already had this on the books. They just needed the right false flag attack. They needed the right scenario. Terrorist attack, right? Domestic terrorism, that's what they're calling it. But they already had all these laws, these unrighteous decrees that they're getting ready to pass. And one of them is martial law. They already had that on the books. Prescribed. Do. Action prescribed. Boundary. Enactment. A decree. A law in general. Enactments. Conditions. Enactments. Civil enactments. And civil goes into who? The citizens. The civilians. What are they calling this? Domestic terrorism. You're going to be blamed. The civilians. Civil enactments prescribed by God.
this label's been created that they can use at any time from here on out. People are going to say, good, use it on them and this and that. But later down the road, when the right decides to rally for whatever reason, that same label is going to be used against them. These are the things you have to watch out for. Anyhow, this is going to go to a new level. We've got the warning signs all over the place. Ezra Levin and his wife are the ones responsible for taking George Soros' money through this group called Indivisible. And they've gotten millions already. And they're putting that money to work by getting activists on the ground to do all this stuff. So these are called Tesla takedown events, so that you know. And throughout the weekend, many places are going to get hit. So just a heads up, if you got a Tesla out there, expect it's being targeted right now. This is only going to amplify, it seems. But I break this down further in more details on the live streams. Make sure.
And let's go break this down a little bit further and show you what they're preparing to do. This is from News Nation. Tesla protests 100% an act of domestic terrorism. And let's get this word domestic terrorism and show you what it goes into. Ex-CIA officer, so he's going to break it down 100% to you on what they're preparing to do. But let's get this word domestic terrorism. Refers to acts of violence or threats committed by individuals or groups George Soros funded within their own country, inside jobs, with the goal of furthering ideological, I got a hard time saying that, objectives. The FBI defines it as violent criminal acts committed for domestic influences such as political, religious, political, whether you're left wing or right wing, it's still the same goddamn bird. And they're playing you off on each other, man. Both the Democrats and the Republicans. Political, religious, they may point the finger at who? The Hebrew Israelites. You're the reason why these things are happening. Domestic terrorist. Social, racial, And you know what people love to do? Social media, they're going to shut that down as well. It's going to be an internet blackout. Racial. That's what's coming. Race wars. Or environmental reasons. Do we not see all types of environmental chaos and destruction? And all of that is orchestrated as well with CERN and direct energy weapons and all types of shit that they're spraying in the air with these chemtrails. The USA Patriot Act defines it as acts intended to intimidate or coerce and civilian population, influence government policy, or affect government conduct. So that's what they're getting ready to do. Labeling this domestic terrorism.
So the FBI, by the way, it's on their website. We looked into it. It has a definition for what it considers to be, quote unquote, domestic terrorism. This definition has been there for a while. Let me read it to you. It's violent criminal acts committed by individuals and or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences, such as those of a political...
Domestic influences. George Soros. This is an inside job. Used to do what? Blame the citizens. Take your rights. Those such as of a political, religious, that's what they want to take out of the schools. That's what they want to burn up, which is the Bible. They already call that hate speech. Social, and that's what the pandemic was all about. 6 feet away, 6 feet distance, 6 feet, 6 over here, 6 over there. The man of sin, 666. Racial, that's what they want, a race war. They've been funding all of this bullshit. Or environmental nature. And who is to blame for this? Let's go back and see what Psalms say, what our forefather King David was singing about. Shall the throne, Psalms 94 and verse 20, shall the throne of iniquity, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, that's who you can blame for this, the throne of iniquity, have fellowship with thee? No, which frameth mischief, wickedness by a law. He's going to use this scenario to take the citizens' rights and blame this on you. Domestic terrorism. These damn devils, man.
Religious, social, or environmental nature. With me now, Tracy Walder, former FBI special agent, former CIA officer, News Nation.
And Koholo Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. It's got 144 likes. I didn't even know that was there until now. But that's the spirit, man. As we're in the last day of Pesach, Passover, at evening.
National security contributor. Hello, Tracy. Always great to see you.
Yeah, and Shabbat Shalom as well, as we're in the Sabbath as well.
So let's talk about this definition. Those are obviously criminal acts. You don't need to be a lawyer or FBI agent to know that. I'm looking at it, and it mentions political. This didn't start happening until Elon Musk backed the president and then became sort of a de facto piece of the administration and started running Doge. Is it domestic terrorism?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Blake. In my opinion, in short, 100%, this is domestic terrorism. Although people are upset with me for saying that, they are furthering a political ideology or a political goal, right, by trying to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, which is part of the definition. But here's the problem that I want to lay out. There are no federal domestic terrorism charging statutes. So no one can be charged with domestic terrorism. They will all be charged. That's a good question. This is something that I have actually advocated for quite some time.
Look at that. Completely covered up. If you were so bold, why you just didn't go out there and do the shit? Without covering your body and your face up. Which the FBI and the CIA can still find your ass. If they really wanted to. They got so much goddamn technology. They can, trace every block and corner that you went down and find you. Pinpoint you exactly. But they don't give no fucks because, hey, man, order ob chaos. Create the chaos and then come in with the order. And that's what it's all about. The New World Order. Where they're getting ready to frame mischief by a law. Isaiah 10 and verse 1. Woe, which means destruction. Unto them, that's what the Lord is getting ready to bring to this place. That decree, something that's decreed, is what? A law. Unrighteous decrees. And that's what they're getting ready to do. Blame the citizens. The religious spectrum. The political spectrum. The racial. It was the blacks and browns. You see what Donald J. Trump is doing to the illegal immigrants, so-called. Shipping them back across the border. But we're going to become the blame of this bullshit. When this is CIA agents, FBI, and all types of other shit, like George Soros, funding this bullshit. Edomites. And that right grievousness, which they have prescribed. They already had this shit written in their legislation and their laws and policies. They just needed the right false flag attack, the right scenario to pass what? The unrighteous decrees. Make it a law. To turn aside the needy from judgment. You see, that's what they're getting ready to do. Take away your rights and not give you any justice. And to take away the right from the poor. Who is the poor? The blacks and browns. Who they're going to point the finger at. Racial, right? These are the domestic terrorists. Get them out of here. Lock them up. Put them in the guillotine. Kill them. Firing squad. Here recently, a man just recently died in the penitentiary by a firing squad. And who is that going to be? ESAU's military force when he bringing those draconian measures, martial law, troops on the street. That widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. They're getting ready to take your 401ks, your pigeons, your social security, and shut down the old system and usher in the new world order. That's what they're preparing to do. And what will you do in the day of visitation? But hey, there's a day where the Lord is going to visit all this unrighteous and unjust bullshit that they're doing to the citizens, especially the Lord's people, which are the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And in the desolation, that's what the Lord is getting ready to do. Make America desolate. World War III, which shall come from far. Who is that speaking about? Russia. the bear that the big bad bully is going to run into, as well as Iran, China, North Korea. They're going to gather allies against this place, South Africa. And also America's allies, they're going to turn on this whore, which is our NATO. To whom will you flee for help? Who is going to help you, Esau? Edom? And where will you leave your glory? The Lord is getting ready to strip you from the throne, from the power seat. Without me, because that's who established you, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. The Lord is getting ready to touch this place.
Time. We obviously have foreign terrorism charging statutes on a federal level, but we do not have domestic. They have left that up to the states. So some states have them, some states do not.
Wow. So you believe it's domestic terrorism? Your former FBI agent. If they call you up and they say, hey, well,
of course she thinks it's domestic terrorism because she's former FBI. These are how do you say it? Operatives, agents working for Satan. They know how to play their role, or else they wouldn't be on the goddamn news broadcast. They would get kicked the fuck off and probably goddamn unalived. So yes, they gotta play ball.
Alder, we need you on the case. Does that label sort of give you more resources? Does it matter, I guess, for you as an agent in one way or another? And how would you go about this?
You heard that? As an agent for who? Satan.
That's actually an excellent question. It actually does matter. So when I was an agent, we actually worked these types of cases. It was actually the ELF, which is the Environmental Liberation Front, and they were setting fire to Hummer vehicles and Hummer dealerships. So this was back in the day when those were very popular because they disagreed with it. And at that time, it did afford us more resources and different technology to be able to track some of these individuals. But Tesla's in and of themselves.
There you go. I said that. I haven't watched this video clip yet. The CIA, the FBI, they got satellites up there in the heavens that they can watch your every move. You can go on Google Maps and pinpoint your house exactly. You mean to tell me that they can't find these folks that burnt these goddamn Teslas? That's bullshit. They're allowing this shit to happen.
Themselves, as we know, have multiple cameras. So if anything, they're going to have a lot of information to go through in this.
You think real quickly they get down to the bottom of this? How quickly? The FBI does.
I think pretty quickly, given the amount of cameras on the vehicles and then at the dealerships themselves.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to...
So this is what they're preparing to do. We'll close it out. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast, which is the revival of ancient Rome, which is Babylon the Great, aka America, here today, coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, which is the political spectrum of the system. The Democrats and the Republicans. They speak to you like a lamb. They tell you everything you want to hear. They come to you humble, lowly, meek. We're here to help you. And he spake as a dragon. But once you give your selection, which, hey man, we know that these presidents are not elected, they're selected by the hierarchy, by the elite bankers. They're the ones who set them up. But once they get into power, Donald Trump was telling the dumbass Americans everything that they wanted to hear. Tell me something good. And that's what he was doing, speaking like a lamb. But when he got into office, he furthered war. I thought there was going to be peace deals. You see what the Israelis are doing to Gaza as we speak, the Palestinians. Now they're speaking as a dragon. A dragon is what? Fierce, deadly, will kill you. What are they doing throughout the earth and world right now? And let's get this word dragon, because that's what they're getting ready to do. Pass that unrighteous decree, that law of mischief. And let's show you what this dragon goes into.
Strong's G, 1404, DRACO. DRACO.
Which is short for what? Draconian. Draconian measures. Let's get what that means. Draconian definition of great severity. Draconian is an adjective that means of great severity. The term derives from DRACO. DRACO, just like this one right here in the Greek. And that's where you get dragon from.
Strong's G, 1404. DRACO.
There you go.
DRACO.
DRACO. You know when a nigga say I got the DRACO, hey man, it's finna get the popping out. And an Athenian law scribed under whom small offenses had heavy punishments. That's what's getting ready to happen with this Tesla deal. They're using that as, hey man, never let a good crisis go to waste. They're getting ready to bring in punishments for you civilians. Draconian can also be used to describe something that is cruel or severe. Is not a dragon cruel? Is not a dragon severe? A dragon, a great serpent. Who is that serpent in the garden? It was a nationality of people, which was the Edomites, that tricked our foreparents, Adam and Eve, with their serpent-like tendencies. Kind of like these politicians, the Democrats and the Republicans. They speak to you like a lamb, lying, speaking bullshit. But then, hey, once you believe and take that poison, you end up dying. You end up getting deceived. And then they speak like a dragon. A name for who? Satan. And Satan just means adversary. Who was the Israelites' number one top adversary? Just read Psalms 83. The number one on the hit list is ESAU, Edom, the dragon, also known as the serpent, the devil the Bible speaks of. And he exercised all the power of the first beast, which is ancient Rome. Did not Elon Musk throw up the Roman salute or Nazi salute? And Hitler was known for what? Genocide. Dragon before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. How was that old ancient Roman Empire brought back to life? Healed through America. And that's what MAGA is all about. Making America great again, like ancient Rome. And he doeth great wonders. So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. And that was Hiroshima and Nagasaki when they dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. And everyone around the world said, surely this is God. And deceiveth them, that's what he has done, that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. What did Elon Musk say? We're summoning the demons, AI, brain chips, Neuralink, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image. An image is this system that they're rolling out, which is known as what? The beast system. To the beast, which had the wound by a sword, which is ancient Rome, and did live, and is living here today. So we're going to leave it right there. Hey, man, they're getting ready to pass draconian measures, which is severe like laws. Martial law being one of those things. Labeling the American citizens as domestic terrorists. So call hello Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, which is all praises to the Heavenly Father and its only begotten Son for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Kwam Yashala, which means rise Israel, and it's on to the next one. Shabbat Shalom.